Are you still struggling to PR on your bench press? This is a safe space. Don't worry. I was in the same boat that you were in mere 6 weeks ago. That is until I found Bradley Barbell's Bench PR. It is a program on Boostcamp, a great app, a great program library. If you're interested in Boostcamp, you can click the link in my description. It is a program on Boostcamp that will help you build a stronger bench press, or at least that's what it claims. Well, I wanted to find out. I love testing new programs. So today we're going to talk about Bradley Barbell's Bench PR and whether or not it is worth 6 weeks of your time to get you from a poverty bench to a little bit of a better bench. I ran this program for 6 weeks and documented most of my training in a training vlog series that you can find on this channel if you want more in-depth review of the day-by-day minutia of this program. I would encourage you to check that out after you watch this video, of course. Today is going to be an overview review of the program, pros, cons, and who I think it will work best for. So let's get into it. So the program's main claim is that utilizing heavy bench work and tempo and controlled pause work on your bench press is going to move the needle forward and build a better bench press. Now, as a coach myself with a decent understanding of the fundamentals of strength training, I would like to say that I have a decent understanding. People are paying me for it. There you go. I think that utilizing heavy work in powerlifting specifically on the big three lifts is something that is very much ignored in a lot of circles of coaches and in a lot of programs. And that is because there is a myth that heavy work equals injury. Injury science and why we get injured is way too complex to get into on a video like this. What I'll say is that I have not seen any direct evidence, whether in my own coaching practice or in the literature, that makes me believe that heavy lifting is directly correlated with injury. Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't get injured. I'm not trying to minimize your lived experience, but what I am saying is we cannot approach heavy lifting in the sport of powerlifting with fear and with the preconceived notion that we are going to get injured. So right off the bat, my first pro on this program is that it is not afraid to utilize heavy bench work. It is going to ask a lot of you in terms of intensity. If you're not used to playing in the 90, 92, 95, 98% loading ranges, this program is going to be a harsh wake-up call, but one that you may need if you are used to more submax volume work. As for the tempo, while yes, I do agree that a controlled pause is necessary to get a better competition bench press. If you are not competing in powerlifting, I don't know if you need the 1 second pauses that this bench program prescribes. I think that it would be worth it to do it for this 6-week program because the program itself is asking you to do it. Sometimes we have to trust program designers and coaches that they know what they're talking about, and that we have to kind of put our ego aside and say, you know what, if this is asking me for a 1 second tempo pause, I'm gonna do it, because that's what is going to drive progress on this program according to the program designer. Humble yourself. Your touch and go bench press is probably a lot stronger than your pause bench press, but if you're competing in powerlifting, nobody gives a damn about your touch and go bench press. It's your competition bench press that's most important. So start training like a grown-up. Stop training like a 16-year-old who's just trying to max their bench press every week. Pause your bench press to a competition standard and actually build a solid bench press. Let's do this. Come on, you can do it. Moving into the structure of the program is going to bring us to our first con on this program. It's not entirely negative. It just means that this program is niching down to a specific audience, and that is that there is no specific deadlift day. You're training 5 days a week. You're doing upper, lower, pull, push, lower again. But there is no deadlift day included on either the pull day or the lower day. So if you are using this program more so as a way to boost your bench, but also not lose any ground on your squat or your deadlift, like I did, you may want to build your own deadlift day. And if you want to see my deadlift day, you can click on this video right here for my deadlift vlog so that you can copy that one. I think it worked pretty well in the overall structure of the program. When we're choosing programs, we have to keep the main thing in mind. So if you are choosing this program to build your bench press and that's it, totally fine. This isn't even a con for you. Go ahead and train this program. But There always has to be a larger context. For me, I wanted to do this program to review it so that I could recommend it to some of you, but I also know that I am going to compete in powerlifting again, and I don't want to lose 6 weeks of deadlift training. So we have to weigh the pros and cons, obviously, but it always has to be individual to you. What are your needs? What are your wants? And how will you enjoy a program the best? That is going to give you longevity, not only in the sport of powerlifting, but also as a general practitioner of strength. Another pro that I wanted to discuss that, depending on your individual need, might be a con, but for me, I thought it was really beneficial, is that most of the training, especially the bench press training, is a percentage-based training. Now, don't get me wrong. I like RPE every now and again. I think it can have its value. I think it has its value more so in advanced context with people who are used to auto-regulating. When we're discussing a program that claims to give you a PR in a specific amount of times, I feel that you have to use percentages. If you use RPE, there may be too much user error and wiggle room and undershooting to actually drive adaptation towards that PR. Unless you are incredibly advanced and incredibly solid with your RPE selection, I think that percentages in a program context like this works better. Another con that's not really much of a con, but something to keep in mind when you are deciding whether or not to use this program is you need a pretty robust library of accoutrement, of exercises, of machines in a gym to get the most out of this program, or to at least follow this program to a T. For me specifically, I train in a powerlifting gym, and I still had to make substitutions on different exercises based on the machines and the cable stacks that were available to me. This is going to be a thing with any program that you pick off of the internet and use. You are going to have to make substitutions. So if you're not comfortable with making substitutions for movements that are going to give you a similar stimulus, I would try to educate yourself. We have a lot of videos like that on this channel. You can watch some of the vlogs for me going through my substitutions to get some ideas. Just something to keep in mind as you decide to run this program. So the big reason that we're all here, did I PR my bench press? Well, technically, yes. I didn't hit a new single PR. It was pretty much the same. I went in with a 170 kilo bench press PR. I know, not great for someone of my size, but I've been dealing with shoulder injuries. Cut me a break. And I left with a 172.5. I was pretty fatigued, so I didn't really get a huge level of PR juice from this program, but I did hit my best double of all time, and I'll post that here. I didn't film my single because I was feeling a little, self-conscious. But my best double, 160, went off pretty well. It was a pretty max lift. So did I grow an insane amount of tissue and build a new bench press PR? No. Could you? Yes. My context of training is different than your context of training. I'm a little bit more advanced. I've been training powerlifting for 3 years. I've dealt with a ton of shoulder and elbow injuries that have held my bench press back. So even when I'm training in higher intensities, that relative intensity might be a little bit lower based on my shoulder and my elbow. So if you are generally newer to the sport of powerlifting, if you are newer to bench press training in higher intensities, I think that you could definitely build a solid PR within 6 weeks, but we always have to temper expectations. Like I said, 6 weeks is really not a ton of training in the grand scheme of strength training. It takes our body a little bit longer, especially as we advance in the sport, to make changes. So you may PR, you may not. Regardless, I think that this is a solid 6 weeks of training that is going to get you more used to pushing your bench press. So overall, I would give it a B+. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you would like to try this program and 2 weeks of Boost Camp Premium for free, you can click the link in my description and use the code BLACKBEARBARBELL with no spaces to get an extra week of free premium and to try this program out. If you do, it really helps the channel. I appreciate it a lot. Make sure to let me know in the comments what you thought about the program. Well, there you have it, folks. Bradley Barbell's Bench Press PR. It was a solid program. I really enjoyed it. If you would like to watch another one of these program reviews, you can click on this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and send it to a friend who has a poverty bench press to help them out. We must help the lower classes among us. Thank you so much for watching. Get strong and stay strong.